internal documents from Customs and Border Protection show human smugglers at the southern border made $1 billion in December alone. It comes as the agency reports more than 170,000 apprehensions in December compared to 40,000 the same time in 2020. Joining us now to discuss is Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. AG, thanks for joining us. Are these numbers what you would expect for this time of year?
Well, in the past, no, but because the border has been made wide open by the Biden administration from the very first day he came into office, I was predicting these numbers would continue for years unless we did something like enforce federal law, which is what he's supposed to be doing.
So you've got record number of border crossings in December. Talk to me about the risk that this poses for people who are trying to make this journey, because this is something that isn't often talked about. The fact that these people are at risk for sex trafficking and then alongside drug trafficking as well.
You know, you make a really good point. It isn't covered well. It's talked about as some type of humanitarian help to allow this to happen. But this is not the way to let it happen. We should have a more thorough process and a more protective process. Instead, you're right, these people are subject to all kinds of crime. Some of them die on the way. We know that even happens when they're crossing the border. They're subject to human traffickers, sex trafficking. It's crazy the way we're doing it. I don't think you could think of a worse way of doing this that's more harmful to the people that are actually supposed to be coming here for freedom.
Yeah. This comes again, there were reports earlier this week that there were about 50,000 migrants who failed to appear for their notices to report. Again, this is, in fact, a ruling from the judge saying they've got to show proof that they are back in the courtroom, and 50,000 didn't show up. What does this mean for where they are right now?
Well, this is kind of the plan. These immigration lawyers have advised these people, come in, claim asylum. We'll let you in the country. This is not the way it's supposed to happen. We'll let you in the country. You get to wait for your hearing, however long that is, a year, 2 years, and then you don't show up for your hearing, you just disappear. The Biden administration knows this is how it works. This is what Trump was so frustrated with prior to his administration, with the Obama administration. And so he stopped it, started enforcing federal law, making people wait for their hearings in another country, and it worked. And here we are back to the old policies. And they're obviously in violation of federal law, and we're going to get more and more of this, people just not showing up for their hearings, disappearing and staying and violating federal law.
Also wanted to ask you about this headline. An Austin judge had ruled that an arrest of a man along the Texas border as part of Operation Lone Star, Greg Abbott's operation, had actually violated the U.S. Constitution and ordered that his case be dismissed. Again, initially the charges had to do with trespassing. What can you tell us about this case and what are its implications?
Well, I hope this sounds as ludicrous to you and your listeners as it does to me. This is a state law. We have the right to enforce state law. We have trespass laws. What that would mean is any illegal immigrant could come into our country and violate state law. And because the federal government's not enforcing their federal law, we'd have to say, well, you can violate any state laws you want because the federal government says it's okay. That cannot be right. No U.S. citizen can do that. So that's what this ruling would mean. It means every illegal immigrant could violate any state law, presumably laws related to murder, related to drugs, anything, because somehow the federal government controls everything as it relates to people coming into our country committing crimes.
And the latest, AG, with Remain in Mexico policy, what have you seen so far? Does it seem to be working as it had under the Trump administration?
No, because they're not actually enforcing it. At least the first numbers that we've had since they supposedly started following the court order that they're required to follow and following federal law, I think it was the number was a little over 200 people that they sent back. The numbers, when you see the numbers, you're 170,000, 200,000 people crossing. That isn't even close to enforcing the law. They are making a mockery of the Constitution, of federal law, and of court orders.
AG Ken Paxton, thanks so much for joining us today with that update. We appreciate it.
Thank you.